Come on in and thumbs up the video if you are my friend. How are you guys doing today? I'm going to let some people get in here. I had started a live a minute ago, but I deactivated the chat and I did it by mistake because I'm so used to doing it. But I did want y'all to talk to me. So there are a lot of people who do van life. Like there are more people in the United States of America that do van life or vehicle life in some capacity. And the definition of van life is that you live in your van. The definition of van life is not traveling, or the definition of van life is that you're living in your van, you're surviving in your van, you're existing in your van. Your vehicle becomes your domain. So I am a nomad. I live in my van. I also have a travel trailer that I can go back to when I want to regroup. But ultimately, I live in my van. I live in my van whether I'm traveling or whether I am just sitting still. I'm still occupying and living in and residing in my van. Sometimes I might go visit a family member or a friend and I might stay in their house. When I'm doing that, I'm doing that. But when I'm traveling, I'm traveling. The uh what is the word I want to use? Logistics of van life can change. Like sometimes people can stay in the city depending on where they're traveling. Sometimes they can go to parks, national historical places. Sometimes they can take a break and live with family members or visit people. The logistics of van life changes, and it's an ongoing changing thing. But millions and millions of Americans find themselves homeless, find themselves on the streets. Some people are fortunate enough to have a vehicle. And so, even though they are homeless, they still have a vehicle that they can get back and forth to different places, or that they can have a roof over their head where they're not sleeping alone in the elements. Let me see. Did anybody leave a comment so far? Let me see. I don't think nobody left a comment. Let me see who's going to be the first person to comment. I thought somebody did leave a comment, but I don't know. So, a lot of people are homeless, you guys. There are millions and millions and millions of people in America that are homeless. There are a lot of veterans that are homeless in America. There are a lot of people with mental illnesses that are homeless. Hey, Miss Eleanor. There are a lot of people that are on drugs, uh, that are alcoholics, that are in homelessness. There are a lot of people that are homeless in America for different reasons. There are some people that live in their vehicles uh, because they're running from certain situations. They could be running from a domestic violence situation. They could be running from family members. They could be running from depression. Uh, I know when I decided that I wanted to do van life, it was because I never been anywhere before. I grew up in the hood. I grew up seeing all kinds of disturbing things. I grew up with depression. I grew up with wanting to self harm myself. I attempted to self harm myself in real life. And I just wanted to get away from what I knew. I wanted to get away from the people and the environment with the mentality. Like when you grow up in a certain neighborhood, almost everybody in that neighborhood has that same mentality. And I don't want to be like what I seen. I don't want to like if you stay in the hood, if I would stay in the neighborhood where I grew up, the only thing going on in that neighborhood right now is drugs, prostitution, AIDS is running rapid, uh, and it's nothing positive coming out of that neighborhood. So at some point in your life, you have to realize something not working and you need to make a change. So I was a product of that neighborhood, but I don't have to be a product of that neighborhood. I don't have to continue to repeat the cycles of what I seen growing up and being like the people that are there. I don't have to use drugs. I don't have to prostitute. I don't have to keep sleeping with people until I get AIDS. I want something different. So I didn't want to be a product of my environment. And I want to see something different. Even though I grew up in Texas and I'm a Texan, a native Texan, I was born and raised in Texas, even though there's a troll that came to the chat the other day and said, girl, you are not from Texas. You was born in Louisiana. Why are you lying? But I have my birth certificate here, and my subscribers watched me go to the city facility where I had to go last year to go get my birth certificate in Texas. Okay, why would someone not want me to be? See, that's what one thing about trolls is, they lie even about the little things. Why are they even concerned about where I'm born? That is mind boggling. But I found myself homeless. Hey there, how you doing? Hey, Miss Tia. I found myself homeless. I found myself in a situation of destitution, and not everybody is homeless by choice. Some people are homeless by choice. Some people are homeless because they are trying to escape their problems. And I found myself homeless because I was ready to check out. I didn't feel the need to hold on and to grasp onto any materialistic things because I had lost myself. I had lost myself. I had lost my desire to want to be here. So I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about my cars, my property, my health. I didn't care about me. I didn't care about anything else. So I lost sight of me. When you lose sight of yourself, you don't care about anything else around you. You don't care about the materialistic things, the things that you may have worked hard for your whole life. There are millionaires, there are famous people that have money, and money is not the issue, but that money don't bring them happiness, and that money don't keep them alive. And they do one of the worst things in life people would never think that they could have been capable of doing, and they end it all and they have money. They have money, they have friends, they have fame, they have fortunes, but they still end it all. And when you get down to the lowest of your low, you are not thinking about my house, my car, my friends, my family members. All you are thinking about is the situation and the destitutionness of that situation. And so there are a lot of people that find themselves in homeless situations and they're living out of their vehicles. That's van life. That's car life. They are living in the city and they're staying in their vehicles. and they're living in their vehicles to keep from being on the street, to keep from being homeless. That's car life. That's van life. Hey there, Miss Ortiz. And I was living in the projects. I was living in the projects. I had finally uh like decided to come out of the building that I was living in, uh with no lights, no gas, and no water, no plumbing, no amenities at all, in a neighborhood where people had broke in multiple times, stole everything that I had that I was trying to survive with, stole generators, stole trailer, just vandalizing the place, threatening me, and all of that stuff. I finally went to stay in the projects, uh, living in the projects with no income, living around people who still have the mentality of drugs, prostitution, neglecting children, alcoholism, uh, killing people, people dying around me daily. Daily, 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 daily. I'm still in a state of depression, even though I have a roof over my head. I'm still in a state of depression, but I start searching and I find van life. I find people who are living in their vehicles, who have a freedom and a peace of mind that nobody else can impact on a daily. And I'm living in these projects and people are playing their music loud around me. You can't sleep at night because they're playing music. I'm living in these projects and people are doing drugs, and the drugs are coming through the vent. You're smelling, you're inhaling, you're ingesting the drugs, and it's making you sick, and you have no control over your environment. I'm living in an area where somebody pulls out an Uzi and over 6 people are dead in a matter of minutes, and you're living in this same area. Like, it just happens feet from you. I'm living in this area where every day bodies are being pulled out of apartments because people have overdosed on drugs that the drug dealer is selling in the neighborhood. I'm living in a neighborhood where the CPS is coming to get children because the mother has left the children in the house by themselves. I'm seeing all of this, and I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to see this. And I know I could see something different. So I start searching on YouTube. I find van life, and I say, I want to do van life. I've just voluntarily repoed a van, but I didn't know nothing about van life. And I'm like, oh my goodness, why did I not know about van life before I repoed my van? So I pray to God and I ask God to help me to get a van. And He does. He helps me to get a van. And now I can be in control of my own destiny. Now I don't have to inhale drugs coming through vents. Now I don't have to listen to somebody else playing their loud music that I don't want to hear at 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 a.m. in the morning. Now I don't have to worry about gunshots in the middle of the night and seeing on the news how many people lost their lives the next day. I don't have to worry about that. Now I don't have to see people's bodies being rolled out of apartments from overdose. I don't have to do that. Hey there, Belle. So, there are a lot of reasons why people live in their vans, live in their vehicles, whether it's by choice or not. But at the end of the day, I want you to know, no matter what your situation, some of y'all saying, I live in my vehicle and I'm homeless, and you think that's the worst situation that you could be in. Girl, that's not the worst situation you could be in. That's probably the best situation that you could be in, because now you have freedom. You know, when you have a house, you're stuck to that house. When you have an apartment, you're stuck to that apartment. You're stuck to that neighborhood. You're stuck to that city, and you're stuck to that state. Sometimes the things that we think are a curse are a blessing. Some of you may be thinking, "Oh, I live in my van and that's a curse and that's so bad and I'm humiliated and I'm so ashamed and I'm so embarrassed." Girl, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, go take a shower, go take a pass, go get yourself a state park pass, and girl, realize that this is the best position that you could possibly be in at this time in your life. Why? Because now you have freedom. You're not limited to a zip code. You're not limited to a zip code. You're not limited to a neighborhood. You're not limited to a state. Even if you're just living in your van to survive and you can't even afford to travel, you can still move your location on a daily basis. You can still take your vehicle. I was stuck in the projects around people that were dying every day, or doing drugs every day, that didn't care about whether or not they were invading on other people's property. Hello, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. We're just talking about homelessness and living in your vehicle. The pros to living in your vehicle, even if you're homeless, even if you're destitute, even if you're running, even if you're running from something or someone, it's okay. You got a vehicle that you can have shelter. You got a vehicle that you can escape with. You got a vehicle that vehicle can take you. It's like a book. You know, a lot of people promote reading because you can go to places you've never been before through reading. You can go to places that you've never been before with your vehicle. And that is beautiful. You have freedom that you never knew you had. Even if it's not the ideal situation for van life, even if it's not, it got millions and millions and millions of Americans living in their cars, in their minivans every single day. You don't have to have a van. There are many people that are backpacking every day. Hey, Miss Chandler, how you doing? And so it's, your frame of mind and how you look at a situation. It is what's going to propel you forward and propel you to do better. You can look at your situation and you could cry and say, "Oh my goodness, I'm living in a van and I'm living in a car and I don't have nothing." Or you could say, "Girl, I'm living in a car. I'm free. I could go anywhere I want to go. I don't have to be stuck with nobody I don't want to be stuck with. I don't have to be stuck nowhere I don't want to be stuck at. You could look at your situation from an optimistic perspective, or you could look at your situation from doomsday. I choose every day of my life to look at my situation from I could rise above this. I'm at peace. I have more peace in my life than I've ever had before. I'm not arguing, I'm not fussing, I'm not fighting, I'm not bickering with anyone. I am not letting anybody use me as a doormat. I'm not being a caregiver for anybody. I've been a caregiver my whole life, taking care of other people, putting other people's needs before my own needs. I've been doing that my whole life. Now I'm off to myself and I can nurture myself back to health. I can love myself back to health. Some of you guys need this time alone. Some of you guys need this freedom. Some of you guys need to look at your situation as an opportunity to change your situation. Some of y'all been needing to change your zip code for a long time. Some of y'all been needing to get away from situations for a long time, and you did not have the guts in you to do it. But now you find yourself homeless without a car, or you find yourself homeless with a car. And either way, it's a new start and it's a new day. Homeless does not mean hopeless. Homeless does not mean that you're never going to get back on your feet. Homeless does not mean that you're not a good person. Homeless does not mean that God don't love you. Homeless does not mean that you can't have your priorities straight and in order. Homeless does not mean that you have to stay on the streets forever, that you have to live out of your van and your vehicle forever. That don't mean that. That means you are in a special place in your life where you can focus on healing, where you can focus on yourself, where you can be out in nature, where you could talk to God, where you could be around you, yourself, and nobody else, where nobody else can cloud your judgment, where you could get away from manipulative, narcissistic, abusive people. You could finally find what it means to be free. And I encourage you today to look at your situation, your homelessness, you living in a vehicle differently. I encourage you today to not be hard on yourself. I encourage you today to not give up on yourself because you're homeless, because you living in a vehicle. I encourage you today to not belittle yourself and not to let other people belittle you, and to hold your head up high and to speak positive affirmations to yourself and in your life. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am healing. And I'm not hopeless. I may be homeless, but I'm not hopeless. I may be living in a vehicle, but I'm not hopeless. I'm not a prostitute, I'm not a drug addict. Just because, some people want to associate homelessness and van life and nomad life to drug addiction, homelessness, mental illness, prostitution, and all of these things. And it don't have to be none of that for you. For some people, it may be that for them. That may be their story, but everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different journey. Hold on, let me wipe my glasses off. Everybody have a different story and everybody have a different journey. For me, van life is not because of a drug addiction, because of alcoholism, because of prostitution, not even because of mental illness. Van life for me is because of peace. Van life to me is because I want to experience something different. I want to be somewhere different. I just want to be free and be by myself and focus on me, whatever that means for that day, that week. If it means just going to stores and making videos for my channel, it means van life to me means being in control of my future and just being content. And everybody has their own journey and their own path. Seek your path and let it direct you to where you need to be. You can't try to live van life like other people are living van life. You can't do van life for the reasons that other people are doing van life for. You are an individual. Like I say, you might be living in your vehicle because you have become homeless. And now you think because you're living in your vehicle, it's the worst thing that could happen to you in the world. Girl, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not the worst thing that could happen to you. When I was in Austin last year, I was at this park and I went to this park several days in a row. I would wake up in the morning and I would go to this park every day. It wasn't a state park, it was a regular park. But it was close by where I was sleeping. So I was trying not to spend gas money. I was trying to spend less gas as I possibly could. So I slept at this place every day and went to this nearby park every day. And every day I would see this lady come in the park. She would open up her trunk. She would open up her doors. She would brush her teeth. She would wash her face. And she would change her clothes right there in the parking lot. Hold on, let me see what y'all saying. Y'all thumbs up the video if you haven't already. Let me wait for this. Okay. So Healed say you are telling my story. Missy Ever say I don't go to family functions. All they do is criticize and compare. I've hung out with complete strangers and their only focus was having a good time. That is so true. Miss Busty said, Vanessa, people have been living in cars and vans since the beginning of time. I knew peoples who lived like this when I was a child. This is nothing new. That's how people live. Yeah, it's not nothing new for some people, but some people who have been put in a situation where they have to live in their vehicles, it's new to them. Like they feel like they are a failure because they have become homeless and they have to live in a vehicle. Sometimes family will push you away to live like that. Nation say I had this life once, not by choice in California, and I want it again. Some people that have been forced into van life or living in their vehicle not by choice actually are down on themselves, and they don't realize the potential that they have to be free, and they don't realize the opportunity that God has given you to like just heal and get rid of whatever it is. And I'm not saying everybody should want to live in a van and live in a vehicle. No, van life is not for everybody. But if you are living in a vehicle not by choice, and that is your circumstance or your situation right now, you need to change your mindset and make the best of that situation. Then that's going to be the sooner you're going to be able to get back to the life that you want. When you make the best of your situation and you don't be down on yourself because of the predicament and the situation you're in. So back to the story, this lady was coming to this park every day, opening up her vehicle, brushing her teeth, washing her face, changing her clothes. And so one day I said, I went up to her one day and I say, "Are you living out of your vehicle?" And she said, "Yeah." And she said, "I'm getting ready to go to work." She had a job. She went to work every day. She was running from a domestic situation. She was married. She was married, and her husband was abusing her. And she left with her car and her belongings. And she moved to another state and she found a job and she's living out of her vehicle. Kudos to her. Do you know how many women stay? Do you know how many women become victims? Do you know how many women become a news report? Do you know how many women never see the light of day because they think they can't leave? Do you know how many women are scared to leave with nothing, to leave with their children, and to leave with nothing? Do you know how many people are scared to do that? Do you know how many people would consider living out of a vehicle to be the worst thing that could ever happen to them in their life? When actually ending up and being a victim because you stayed in a domestic violence situation is the worst thing that could ever happen to you in your life. Flee for freedom. If all you can leave with is your car and your belongings, even if you have to leave in the car and keep the car and don't have no belongings with you, get out, leave, go to another state. Go to a shelter when you get to that state. Go let them give you, they'll send you somewhere where you could get some clothes. If you don't do nothing but leave, I'm going to tell you the day I left my husband, I left with the clothes on my back and a handful of clothes for my child. And I went to a shelter and they sent me to another state. They would have sent me to any state on a bus to another shelter to any state that I wanted to go to. Because I didn't know nobody else in another state, I took the bus ticket to Texas and I came to Houston. I came to Houston and I stayed in a shelter for 3 months. That was the limit. They will let you stay there. I stayed in the shelter for 3 months until they tried to find me housing before that 3 months was over with. They try to find you some type of housing before the 3 months is over with. They couldn't find me housing before the 3 months was over with. So I had to go stay with a relative for a month or two, and then they found me housing. But I left. I left with nothing. I didn't have a car. I didn't know how to drive. My husband made me drop out of school when we got married. I was a dropout. I got a child. It's just me. I don't have no education. I ain't never worked on nobody's job before. That could have been the most scariest thing for me in my life at 16. But because I had took care of my mama children, because I had been responsible as a child and being thrown into an adult role, it was so natural for me to come to Houston, to get an apartment, to get a job, to go get my GED, to go to school and do it all over again. Work, school, trying to, don't want to become a statistic like my mother, saying I'm not gonna let what happened between me and my husband destroy me. I'm still gonna do what I need to do to provide for myself, to take care of myself. I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna get an education. I had these big plans, but some of you have more than what I had. You got a car. You got a car. You have an education. You graduated from high school. You got something to go and build on. You don't have to start completely all the way over. One lady said, I'm starting over at 40, 50, or 60. It's okay if you start over at 40, 60, or 40, 50, or 60, but you got more than some young person out there who done got married, or who in a domestic violence situation, and she don't have nothing. She don't have a car. She don't have an education. She don't know how to drive. She's kind of stuck in that situation because of all this fear of, I don't have a car. I could have ended up staying in that situation, y'all, because I looked at my situation and said, I don't have nothing. I don't have an education. The day that I went to school to quit school because my husband forced me to, the principal told me, stay in school. Don't let him let you quit school. This marriage, the principal told me, this marriage not gonna work. You're not gonna have nothing. You're not gonna have an education. You're gonna end up with children you have to take care of, and you're not gonna have nothing, Vanessa. The principal was like, stay in school. Stay in school. And I listened to my husband, told me I had to quit. But the principal was trying to tell me, you don't have to quit. He can't make you. But that principal didn't have to go back home with me and get my butt beat. But if you're starting over at an older age, you're wiser. To have to start over with nothing, and you ain't never been taught nothing, and you young, dumb, and stupid, and you got to find your way because ain't nobody never showed you the way. You got to find your way. That's harder. That is harder. Girl, starting over and now you found your way. I'd rather start over now. I mean, I would rather be young again. I wish, don't get me wrong, I wish I could go back to being young again. I wish I could be 18, 19, 20 years old again. I wish I could start over again. But if I was to start over the same, with the same mentality I had then and the same knowledge that I had then, I would make the same mistakes. But now I get to start over at 50, at 56, knowing what I know now. I get to start over knowing what to be on the lookout for. I get to start over knowing about abusive people, about narcissistic behaviors, about I get to start over knowing what to look out for. I get to start over knowing not wanting to be a doormat. I get to start over putting myself first and not letting other people put themselves and their priorities before me. I get to start over fresh and new with wisdom. I'm not young, dumb, and stupid no more. So I get to start over and I get to be in control. Sometimes, even when you leave your predator, they are in control because you're living in fear. You're living in fear. What if my husband find out where I'm at? What if my husband come to get me? What if my husband, you're living in fear. I don't have to live in fear no more. I don't have to live in fear no more. I don't have to be manipulated by nobody no more. I don't have to be scared that nobody's gonna find me. I don't have to be scared that, hold on, I think I heard something. Okay, yeah, that's the park ranger changing out the faucet. Let me reach out comments. Miss Sierra say living in a van looks fun. Miss Busty say you are sure right. You've been on a roll today. Very interesting topics you have been speaking on. Nation say yep. Miss Busty say amen. So true. Women go through a lot. North South say I am Jerry from Texas. Love you. Take care. Hey Jerry, how you doing? Miss Sierra say I don't see how women stay. I was in an abusive relationship once and I never saw the person the same. Looking at him made me sick. It was not hard for me to move on. I had to play it safe though. Some people, some women don't have that strength, and some women are scared. Like their manipulator, their abuser puts fear in them. Miss Bussy say, "Amen, Sierra. God bless you. I am glad you moved on and got out of the situation. Sierra say thank you. Miss Bussy say, I thank God I never lived that life, but I got friends that went through. Just bless they made it out and living a better life. Miss Bussy say, man, Vanessa, starting over is a blessing. Hey, Miss Amy, how you doing? Miss Amy say, I love hearing your amazing stories, Miss Vanessa. Thank you for sharing these very emotional moments with us. We are proud of you. We love you. Miss Amy say, you are an inspiration, amazing, strong survivor. Christy say, the Holy Spirit is on you this week because you being giving. Oh, hold on, y'all. The tears in my eyes. I can't see. I can't see. I can't see, y'all. I got tears in my eyes. Let me wipe the tears, y'all, and put my glasses back on. uh, Miss Amy say the Holy Spirit is upon you. Where was that? Where was that comment? That was Miss Amy. Oh, that was Christy say this week, cause you've been giving a word, girl. Miss Chandler say more people need to hear this, especially women. Miss Busty say, Vanessa, you are a blessing and you are helping somebody. Miss Busty say, Amen, Christy. Yes, she has. Miss Karen say, I love watching your journey, Vanessa. You are a badass. Love from Florida. Hey, Miss Karen. I want to catch up on the comments. Y'all thumbs up the video. Some women don't leave because they're scared to leave. The abusers manipulate, especially when you young. Like, I got married when I was 16. My husband was 28. My mom had to sign for us to get married. He hit me from the first day. He abused me while I was pregnant. He pointed guns at me, knives at me, played Russian roulette, said he was going to kill me all throughout my pregnancy. Uh, he didn't want me where we lived at. You have to go into town. He didn't want me to go into town. He knew I had been sexually assaulted as a child. One day he came back home and said that he was walking around in town and this man had walked up to him and asked him, did he know me? And he was describing my abuser and said that my abuser was looking for me. So my own husband didn't want me to go into town because he was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. And so he was manipulating me by making me think that my abuser is looking for me to make me scared to go into town. This a man that I done married that I'm supposed to love and supposed to love me. He want to keep me at home, keep me in the house so he can do whatever it is he's doing and get away with it. Because I'm 16 years old. That's why when you marry an older man, the older man got game. The older man thing. And my husband tried to manipulate me. You know, I eventually left when I was 18. So I stayed married for 2 years. Or stayed with him for 2 years. Stayed married longer than that. Stayed with him 2 years. Eventually got a divorce. But he was manipulative. He made me drop out of school. He lied and said that he was going to let me finish school. And then once we got married, he said, you need to quit school. So he lied And I think, like I said in the other video on the other channel when we was talking about narcissists, I think the narcissist, my husband, thought that he had the whole situation under control, and that I was going to be under his finger, and that I was going to be the timid, because I was very timid, but that I was going to be controlled. And I think that part of me that has lived through seeing an abusive dad, seeing a mother being weak and not fighting and taking up for herself, and never ever being strong, and never being mentally capable of even providing for her children, because for some reason or another she just chose to not do nothing. I think me witnessing that as a child said, hell no, I'm not letting that happen to me. So I knew that from a child, I didn't want that life. I didn't want a life of fear. I didn't want a life of abuse. I didn't want a husband that was an alcoholic. I didn't want a husband that beat me. I didn't want a husband that made me cry. I knew from an early age I didn't want that. So when those things started happening to me, it became clear and apparent to me, Vanessa, you have to leave. Vanessa, this is not love. Vanessa, he's going to kill you. Vanessa, this is not how you want to raise children. Vanessa, this is not the man that you want to build a family with. Vanessa, you need to leave. And so at the age of 18, with a knife to my throat and a baby on my hip, I reach down in a drawer, get clothes, and tell my mama to take me to the police station. She takes me to the police station. They call a social worker. The social worker come and get me and take me to a hotel. And they put me in this hotel for a week or so. And then they take me to their headquarters and they say, we will see, there's a shelter here in town, but we recommend that you go somewhere else where your predator cannot find you. So they say, we will send you to whatever city and whatever state you want to go to. I didn't know nobody, nowhere. I kind of wish I probably would have went to California or something, but I don't know where is the best place. Do anybody know where would be the best place, the best shelter for a woman to go to who is running from domestic violence, to be able to get the best resources that she could possibly get? I don't know what city and state that is. Anyway, I came to Texas and I stayed in the shelter for 3 months. The shelter tries to help you get, uh, they have organizations that are working with them. They try to help you to get shelter. They try to help you to get counseling if you need it, if you need medical attention because you have been abused. I think I needed mental, uh, abu- I needed counseling from the abuse. You know, I was abused mentally and physically. And I feel like the physical abuse heals, but the mental abuse stays. Like you're scared that that person is going to find you. You're scared that that person is going to do something to you. You're looking over your shoulders every single day. Even when you get to a better place in your life, you still are haunted by that person. And fortunately for me, because I did come to another state, Fortunately for me, I broke the ties between me and my husband because I was not somewhere where he could manipulate me. I was not somewhere where he knew other people. When I first had left him, uh, when I first had left him, uh, I'm trying to think like how long we had been married. 11 months. So when I first had left him, I guess it was 18 months. No, not 18 months. 11 months, 7 months. Maybe it was 17, 18 months. I had, into our marriage, I had left him and I went to a shelter. But it was in the same state. And somehow he had one of our sister-in-laws find out where I was at, and she called me and she begged me and she told me he was gonna change and the family was gonna make sure he don't do it to me again. And she got to me. She got to me and I went back. But when I left and went to another state, now he don't know nobody in the state where I'm at. He don't know none of my family members, none of my relatives. He don't know nobody down here in Texas that he could reach out to and get to me. He did try to get to me through my mama. He did try to get to me, and my mama even tried to convince me to go back to him, even though she seen him with a knife to my, holding my throat and was gonna kill me. So I think the best thing you could do when you're running from a domestic violence situation is to are y'all still here? Can y'all hear me? Is to leave and go to another state. But had I had had I knew how to drive, had I had a license, had I had uh, a degree, or had I had graduated from high school, it'd have been so much easier. Not only am I having to leave my husband, now I'm leaving with nothing. I'm leaving with nothing. I don't have no clothes. I don't have a car. I don't know how to drive. I've never had a job. Got married when I was 16. He wouldn't let me work. He made me quit school. That's what the man want to do. He wants you to have nothing so that way you will never leave him. You will never leave him. And I guess he thought because I didn't have nothing. I didn't have no education. I didn't have a job. I didn't have no clothes. I didn't have a car. I didn't know how to drive. I I wasn't gonna never leave. That's what he thought. But he thought wrong. I left with nothing. Sometimes, y'all, it's best to leave with nothing than to stay and end up with nothing. If you lose your life, you end up with nothing. If you lose your life, your children end up with nothing. It's best to leave with nothing and start over from scratch. At least your perspective is not crowded. At least nobody not standing over you who really don't want to see you succeed and don't want you to accomplish anything in life. I left, stayed in shelter, got my own apartment, enrolled in GED classes, took the GED classes, took my GED test, passed my GED the first time, enrolled in community college, started going to community college, working, taking care of myself, providing for myself, and going to school. Then the same kind of man, the same kind of man is always attracted to me, a narcissist, controlling abuser. That's the definition of every man I've ever dated in my life. A narcissist, controlling abuser. Let me add lying, cheating to that too. Same kind of men coming in your life over and over again, different face, same person, same personality. And because you young, dumb, and stupid, you falling for it. 18, 19 years old, thrown out here to the wolves. Ain't nobody taught you nothing. Your mama never taught you nothing. Your auntie ain't never taught you nothing. Your grandmother ain't never taught you nothing. Your daddy ain't never taught you nothing. So you out here living life to find out everything the hard way. Okay? So that's why I say, Miss Sierra, starting over at 50 and 40 and 60, girl, that's a blessing. Because, baby, I had to start over at 18 as a child. Didn't know nothing. Nobody taught me nothing. I had to start over. But now I got to start over and learn the hard way. And, it took years, girl. It took some years for me to learn the hard way because I was so naive. Like I believed everything people told me. I didn't know I could say no. I didn't know. I didn't know I could say no when a man approached me and said he liked me and he wanted to take me out on a date. I didn't know I could say, "Oh no, thank you. I'm not interested." Because I grew up being abused as a child sexually, I didn't even know, y'all, I'm serious. I did not even know I could say no to sexual advances. I didn't know if I wasn't feeling a person, like I often would give in because I didn't want to be violated. So I would just be like, I didn't know. I didn't know because I was taken advantage of when I was a child. I felt like I thought that I had to say yes or I would be hurt or I would be killed. I didn't know. I didn't know. Okay, y'all, hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to take a very important phone call. And that phone call had me crying. That phone call had me crying too, but in a good way. Uh, I am so happy that God is on my side. And let me see what y'all was saying. Rocking with Cowboy say, how long have you been in van life? It'll be 3 years in June. Free to be say we back live, love it. Glad you got out. You are so precious. I love to hear your story are so inspirational. Who taught you to drive? We'll get to that. Yes, material things you can always replace. Ray say this is powerful. Miss Dusty say Vanessa gotta run. My phone is finna die, but bless you and stay strong. God got hands on you, and your story is the reason I stay single. These men's, these men's, the today, not worse. It love you. Stay blessed. I can hear you. I had y'all on mute. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Are you here? Are you here? Are you here? Where did I leave off at? Anybody could tell me. I'm sorry. I had a phone call. I told y'all I had a very important phone call at 1:30. Y'all here? Y'all here? Y'all here? Can y'all tell me where I left off at? I don't know where I left off at, but Miss Sierra asked me how did I learn how to drive. That's a whole situation and a whole nother story time. I did tell that story once before, but basically, I was in this relationship with this narcissist who was older than me, and he convinced me to buy a car with my own money, even though I didn't have a license or and I didn't know how to drive. And he convinced me to get the car so we could get back and forth to work. We worked at the same place, and he was driving my car, and he was never teaching me how to drive. And girl, then I found out he was driving women in my car and stuff. And I told him I had an interview. I had a job interview, and he was supposed to pick me up to take me to the job interview. He never showed up to take me to the job interview. When he finally came later that night, I said, "Give me the keys to my car." And he was like, "Vanessa, you don't know how to drive." I said, "That's all right. I'd rather wreck my own car than to have you wreck it." So I had him drive himself home in the car, and then I drove myself back home skidding on the road. Girl, I was about to hit stuff. I ain't got no license. I ain't got no license. I ain't know how to drive. Who taught Vanessa how to drive? Vanessa. I got my car. I parked it, and I just started driving it up and down the driveway, taking it up and down the road, taking it around the corner. I took back my power, and I never took a driver's ed class. I taught my own self how to drive. Of no family member never came got me. I taught myself how to drive. So, and then after I taught myself how to drive, I had to go get a license. So, I already knew how to pass the written part of the test because when I was 16 and I got married, my husband did not know how to read and write. I married an illiterate man. And in the driver's test, I don't know if it's in Texas or it's everywhere. You can, a person who doesn't know how to read and write can have somebody else read the exam to them and they answer the questions. So I studied the test with my husband. My husband didn't have a driver's license. I studied the test with my husband when I was 16 years old, and I read the test to him during the exam at the driver's license office. So I knew all the answers to the question because I had studied the test before. So when it came time for me to take my driver's test, I passed the test and I taught myself how to drive. The only problem I had a problem with was parallel parking. And when I took my driver's test, I did not pass the parallel parking part. And the tester told me, I think I was driving a relative's car and they were there with me. The tester told me, I'm going to lunch and we're going to lunch and nobody is going to be using the parallel parking thing. And he said, I suggest you go outside and you parallel park and you keep practicing and you keep practicing and you keep practicing. And I'm going to give you another opportunity because I passed the whole test. I didn't pass the parallel parking. He said, I'm going to give you another opportunity to take that parallel parking over again. But you need to go out there and you need to keep practicing. And so I went outside and a couple of men came outside, a couple of men came outside and they was telling me what to do, how to pull up and to pull in. And so, girl, by the time that inspector came back from lunch, girl, I had parallel parking down back in an hour. And I passed my driver's test. I had passed everything and I wasn't doing good on the parallel parking. He was like, girl, I'm going to lunch. You keep practicing your parallel park until I come back. And I was like, okay. And I practiced my parallel parking. Ain't God good, y'all? Ain't God good? Ain't God good? Um, love you, Miss Vanessa. God got you. I stayed single for many of years. Miss Alita say, hey, Vanessa. Miss Calendar say, you were at being in junior college and met another narcissist. Girl, I met another narcissist almost as soon as I got to Houston. I done dated all narcissists. Now you be speeding on the highway. LOL. Girl, I don't be speeding. I go to speed limit. Y'all, I do not go over the speed limit. Why y'all be saying I'm speeding? Girl, I do not. When I'm traveling out of town, the speed limit be like 75 and 80. I don't be going 75 and 80. Even if y'all watched the video today when I was coming down here, the speed limit was 75. Girl, I was going like 65 miles an hour. I was not driving the speed limit. Uh, yes, it's called accommodations. What's called accommodations? What's called accommodations? Girl, is that thing still showing me? What's called accommodations? So, y'all, back to me encouraging you guys that are living in your vans, living in your vehicles, for whatever reason you're living in your vehicle. Is it because you lost your job? Is it because you're running from a domestic violence situation? Is it because you are depressed and you just tired? Is it because you just can't afford rent? Is it because you don't have nobody to live with and all you got is your vehicle? It don't matter why you are living in your vehicle. It don't matter why you living in your vehicle. It don't matter if you're homeless. You can make the best of this situation. You might not think that living in your vehicle is the ideal situation for you, but you can make the best of this situation. You can learn how to survive living in your car. You can drive to a city and a state where the weather is not too hot, where the weather is not too cold, or you can drive to two different states at least twice a year. In the wintertime, go to a state that's hot. In the summertime, go to a state that's cooling off. You can make it. You can survive. You got this. You're going to be okay. You don't have to be defined by your past. You don't have to be defined by your abuser. You don't have to be defined by the people that have done you wrong your whole life. You don't have to be defined by your depression. I grew up being depressed my whole life from a child. I grew up holding in what happened to me and not being able to tell it to nobody and keeping it a secret and making sure everybody else stayed safe and out of jail at my own cost. Okay? I no longer have to be defined by the people who hurt me, by the people who did me wrong. I don't have to be defined by that. I don't have to be held hostage. I don't have to stay quiet. I don't have to keep silent. I don't have to cover up lies anymore. I can live in freedom. I can live in freedom. I can live in peace. I don't have to be a victim to my attackers, my abusers. Almost all of my attackers and abusers are dead. My husband is dead. I believe the man that sexually assaulted me as a child is dead. Uh, my uncles that mentally and physically tortured me as a child, the two that really did the most damage to me, they're both dead. Uh, Adult females who tried to bring harm to me, uh, they're dead. So I don't have to live in fear anymore. I don't have to accept abuse, bullying, harassment. I don't have to do none of that. And now I learned through all that I've been through in life and trusting in God. Now I learn not to fight my own battles, and now I learn to turn people over to God. And I have seen God. Like, now I could trust God and turn situations over to Him because I've seen Him deal with those situations. I've seen Him bring justice. I've seen Him come to my aid and fight my battle. I've seen Him deal with my husband. I've seen Him deal with other people. So all I do is just cry to God and pray and trust and believe, and that's it. In my hometown, they don't test you on parallel parking and the written test. You can only Get 11 wrong. Get 12, you fail. I didn't miss no questions. I got all the questions right. I made 100 on my test, if I remember correctly, but I didn't. They make us parallel park. I couldn't get the parallel parking, and he gave me some opportunity to practice the parallel parking. So I did end up passing the test. Free to be say I am looking forward to starting my nomadic journey in the summer. I am excited to begin living free from society constraints and just exploring the US and beyond. And even if you just have to explore one city at a time, one state at a time, like don't let nobody define you or your life. People try to define what I'm doing, try to make fun of what I'm doing, try to compare what I'm doing to somebody else. I'm on a journey of healing. I'm on a journey of healing. My main concern ain't just like traveling and going places. Now I'm trying to sit still sometimes and just pray and just fast and just talk to God and just lay in my hammock. This park that I'm at, they don't really have a lot of trees or a lot of cleared out space where you can lay in your hammock, and I'm kind of disappointed at that. But van life for me is healing and it's peace. And I'm just trying to do that. And the sad part about it is that hold on, y'all. I'm trying to hold back these tears. Hold on. Give me a minute, yeah. The sad part about it is I finally the sad part about it is I finally found something that gives me peace, that gives me joy, that is helping me to heal, that is helping me to put my life that was stolen from me back together. I almost I almost died. I almost died. I almost lost myself in my depression and in my pain and suffering. And I've escaped that. And I'm still daily on a journey of healing. And the sad part about it is that these people that attack me daily find pleasure in trying to destroy me. They find pleasure in trying to disrupt my peace. They find pleasure in attacking me and lying on me. And they find pleasure. They know that they are abusing me. They know what they're doing. And instead of just letting me live my life, find my peace, and stop questioning every single thing that I do to try to make me out to be a bad person, instead of just letting me be happy, they can't do that. And that's the sad thing about this whole situation. I'm just a lady that's living in her van, who don't want to be around the projects of the hood, around drugs, around prostitution, around people dying every day. I'm not claiming to be a world traveler. I'm not claiming to, I am doing van life for healing, for peace. And it's like these people are trying to steal my joy and my peace and my happiness and my freedom and my livelihood. They don't want me to have nothing. It's like they're jealous and you know, they want and think they deserve subscribers, attentions, and friends. And so get it at the cost of Vanessa. Get it at the cost of Vanessa. Tear Vanessa down. Vanessa ain't nobody. Vanessa ain't nothing. Tear Vanessa down. Talk about Vanessa. Lie on Vanessa so I can get ahead. And see, just like everybody before you who tried to do it before you, I know how the story gonna end. But it's just so sad that somebody else just can't let somebody else be. They just can't let you be. They can't let you find your happiness. They can't let you find your peace. They can't let you be at peace. I'm happy. I'm at peace. Anybody that comes into my life trying to disrupt that peace, I can walk away from you. I can leave you alone. I don't have to tolerate it. I've been through too much in life to allow myself to have to go through that again. Nobody. I don't care what you think you could bring to my life. You're not worth my peace, my joy, and my happiness. I have nothing to prove by allowing you to be in my life. I have nothing to gain by allowing anyone to be into my life that cannot be a part of a productive friendship that is non-problematic. I'm not looking for confrontation. I'm not looking for competition between. I don't need to be friends with nobody who's in competition with me. I don't need to be friends with nobody who's jealous of me. I don't need to be friends with nobody who's trying to set me up. I don't need to be friends with nobody who could turn on me at the drop of a hat and participate in other people bullying me and harassing me every day just because I wanted to walk away from that friendship. I don't need to be friends with nobody like that. I don't need to be friends with nobody who gets joy and pleasure out of hurting other people. I'm just a loner. Sometimes I'm an introvert and sometimes I'm not. I could be an introvert for the rest of my life. I could just be with just me, myself, and I for the rest of my life and be happy. I could be on an island with nobody and I could be happy. I won't go crazy. Some of these trolls want to say she going crazy in that van by herself. No, I'm not. Choose to be by myself because of people like you. Because of people like you, I choose to be by myself, girl. I'd rather be by myself all day, every day than to be around people like you. You people that talk about me and attack me every day, I'd rather be by myself all day, every day. How many of y'all rather be by yourself all day, every day? Let me see what y'all saying. We would love to see you in San Antonio hanging out at some of the great parks. I'm not a San Antonio type of person. I've been to San Antonio before. I'm going to Austin. I'm gonna visit San Antonio one day, but San Antonio not mine. It's not really my cup of tea. I don't like the freeways in San Antonio. Uh, Miss Challenger say healing. Free to be say yes, ma'am. I plan on traveling very slowly and enjoying each day as it comes. I am tired of being stressed out and working jobs. I hate it. Miss Jessica say, I pray that God comforts and strengthens and heals your heart. Jesus is a healer. Free to be say, God bless you, sis. It's good to release and let those tears flow. Chandler say, so proud of you. Just let it go. One thing for certain, and one thing, and one, and no one can portray you as bad because you are not that. You are loved by us and your community. Israel say, oh sis, I came in this live and the first thing I hear is you spitting facts. I am the same way. Israel say, me. Uh, Free to be say, yes, same. I am definitely an introvert. I prefer to be alone because people are always disappointing me. Miss Patricia say, I get it. Me too. Me too. I prefer to be alone. There are so many narcissists out there. Miss Rachel say, I agree. Yes, I agree with you, Vanessa. I prefer to be alone since some people will add unnecessary drama in your life. That's what I'm avoiding, y'all. If being around a person means drama for me, I'm going to take no thank you. I'm going to take Alex. Give me 0 for 100, please. You know how many people I need in my life? You know how many people I need in my life? I'm going to take 0 for 100, Alex. I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody. Not everybody would love to have a good friend or someone to fellowship with. I would love to have as many good friends that is not going to cause me no drama, that is not going to be no drama, that is not going to be problematic. That I would love, I would accept 100 friends. If you drama free and you ain't messy and you ain't evil and you ain't wicked and you ain't trying to set me up, I will accept 100 friends. But how many do I need? How many do I need? Like let's just talk about need and wants are two different things. How many do I need? I don't need nothing. I could live without. I could live on a desert island by myself. I don't need nothing. Now, what I want and what I need is two different things. Yes, I want good friends, male and female. They don't all just have to be female. But yes, I get along better with males than I do females, but males usually want to turn it into something physical. I'm not looking for anything physical. So at this point in my life, I just decided I can't be friends with men because when I tell a man I just want to be friends, he say, "Okay, that's fine." And then after we friends for a couple of years, then next thing you know, he can't accept no. I'm tired of people that cannot accept no for an answer. I have boundaries now. I know how to say no now. And now I know how to not let nobody force their will on me. I used to let people force their will on me. I used to not know how to say no. I used to be scared to say no. I used to didn't think I could say no. I actually had sex with men before who wanted to have sex with me. I didn't want to have sex with them, but I didn't know I couldn't say no. Like literally, I did not know I could not say no. Now I know that I can say no. Now I know that you better respect my no. And now I know I don't need to know you if you can't accept my no. So I'm good when it comes to friendships. You know, I still have people that want to meet me because I have a YouTube channel. And under the right circumstances, I will meet more people. Under the right circumstances, I will become friends with more people. I believe there are more friendships out there for me. I also believe there's some setups out there for me too. And I ain't trying to fall for one of them. But I believe that there are some genuine connections out there for me, and it's just a matter of time and God putting those things in my path for them to happen. You know, I met Miss Charlene, I met Miss Pauline, I met Miss Edna, I met Miss Mary, I met Miss Vitiful, uh, I met Mr. Information Man, and uh, I met some more people in van life. I met my friend in Houston. Uh, how me and my friend became friends, it was a coincidence how we became friends, but we was meant to be friends, and we have been friends for over 10 years. Never had a fight, never had an argument, none of that. None of that. Never. I have never been disrespected by her. She has never been disrespected by me. I know we will probably be friends till one of us die. And that's the kind of friendship I'm looking for. I'm looking for a friendship that's respect. I'm looking for somebody that gets me, Miss Mary, Miss Miller, and other people that I talk to on the phone with that are my genuine friends, like Miss Mary and Miss Miller. They're not just subscribers, they're my friends, they're my family. Miss Mary and Miss Miller and Gamer, they're my family. Like, they're my family. And there's some other people that I choose not to mention, but they know who they are. You guys are my family. Like, God has replaced everything that I thought I missed out on as a child, like the love. I'm not trying to replace my mama. I'm not trying to replace my daddy. But the love that I didn't get, God has replaced that love with Him loving me more than anybody could love me. And then me teaching me how to love myself. And then now I have people who love me for me. I got people can come on here and make fun of my bald head, but I got people who see this bald head and they still say, Vanessa, we love you. I got people that see this bald head and say, Vanessa, do your do your locks. Do your locks. I like your locks. I got people who see the knot in my throat and see my eye and they don't judge me. I got people who see that I'm a hot mess, that I am still trying to heal and recover. And they still love me. I got people that see that I am not perfect. And they still say, Vanessa, we love you. You're beautiful. You're smart. You're intelligent. You're encouraging. You're motivating. They don't try to bring more. It's sad that some of these people want to try to bring more hurt and more pain on me. And that's how I know some of them could have never been my friend. Child, when you know somebody that been hurt and you try to get on YouTube and hurt them some more by lying on them, just so you could get more clicks, more views, and have more friends, you not nobody I could ever, never be friends with. Never, 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 never. Thank God for saving me. Thank God for delivering me. Um, Miss Alita said, we love you, girl. Miss Sweet Baby say, yes, you. Yes, love you. Miss Patricia, what you talking about, Miss Patricia? Free say, yes, honey. I am too old for the drama. Miss Carolyn say, Vanessa, if I don't ever get to do van life, I am just glad God blessed me to have you in my life and for all your inspiration. You are loved. Thank you. Maybe when I get another vehicle, I can come pick one subscriber up at a time and let y'all do van life with me for a week. You know, I'm a charge for it. I got to charge for everything. That's how you get rid of the trolls, y'all. You get rid of the trolls. I come pick y'all up for a week, and y'all can travel with me. Uh, you have to fill out an application, and girl, maybe I could pick y'all up for a week, and we could travel or go somewhere in your hometown and camp out in your hometown, and maybe I can help y'all get y'all feet wet a little bit. Uh, Miss Patricia say people negativity is draining. Okay, y'all, I'm going to end this live. I received my important phone call. I am going to go take me a shower, and I think I need to clean out my van. So I might come back and clean out my van, or I mean, I still got a sandwich. I got one sandwich left today. I really don't need to go to the store and get anything to eat. Oh, I ate my ice cream, or not ice. I ate this one this morning. I woke up around 4 o'clock this morning, and I ate the rest of this, y'all. It was good. So I got one more left. I don't necessarily have to go to the store today. So I am going to leave in this live. I hope that this video was encouraging to somebody out there who is homeless, to somebody out there who is living in their vehicle. Uh, Consider this to be a clean slate. Don't consider this to be the worst thing that has ever happened to you. Consider this to be a clean slate. See what you could do to regroup from this, get ahead, and use this time that you're by yourself to the best of your ability. Don't let somebody else's definition of your life define you or your happiness. Know who you are and keep your head up no matter what. No matter what you go through. No matter what you go through, no matter who attack you, no matter what people are saying about you, keep your head up. No matter who make fun of you, no matter who laugh at you, no matter who takes pleasure in your pain, keep your head up, girl. Keep your head up. Anybody that takes pleasure in your pain is not a good person. Anybody that tries to cause you additional pain is not a good person. People could try to make you look like a bad person all day, everything day, but the lengths that they go through to make you look like a bad person shows who the real bad person is. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I always end in a prayer, but I want y'all to pray. Can somebody pray right now? Can somebody pray? Can somebody pray for me? Can somebody pray for you? Pray for yourself. I'm going to let y'all pray right now. Okay. Can somebody type a prayer in the chat? All of y'all, I always pray. It's your turn, girl. It's your turn. Somebody type a prayer in the chat. Miss Callan say, yes, Vanessa. Miss Callan want to come traveling with me? Miss Renee say, hey, Vanessa, you really spoke truth in this video. Zan car life is freedom, privacy, and peace. I did it for 10 days and it was a good experience for me. Thanks for this subject. Miss Alita say amen. Frida B say love you too, girl. Have a blessed day. I am praying for you all. Anybody gonna type a chat, a prayer in the chat? May God bless us all that are misunderstood. Sometimes we not misunderstood. Sometimes we are uh, alienated because we're better than the situations that we came out of, and because we want change. Some people don't want change. Some people want to stay the same. You're a reminder to them. If you're trying to change, you're a reminder to them of what they don't want. They don't want change. So They gonna act like you the problem when you really not. We not misunderstood, girl. We just a reminder of what they don't want to be reminded of. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I'm going to take a shower, and y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. I'm probably gonna be back live in about an hour on Vanessa VIPB to clean out my van. So I'm just gonna make a day of it. After I take my shower, I'm probably gonna come back live so y'all can clean out my van with me. Okay, I'll see y'all later. Bye. Thanks for watching. I love y'all.